Alright, hey guys, we're back, and I'm going to try to do something a little bit different for this side, just in case you guys wanted to see more of a stream. I'm going to do holes 1 through 9 in one video here for you guys. So for the very first hole, just like in the other video on my revision, we are going to use Marlin Sniper combination. And just focus on trying to get the ball on line and get it to go into the hole. So the technique that I use here involves very, very little topspin. It's less than probably half a bar. So you really only need a sniper or whatever, as long as whatever club you're using has 10 topspin, you're going to have plenty to do this shot. And I'm going to take the second hop off the fairway, and you can see what I'm doing with the topspin, just barely creeping it up. In terms of where I'm trying to get it, notice I am setting up a little bit left. It has to do with being a crosswind. I'm trying to basically estimate how much that crosswind is going to affect my ball. Aside from that, I'm just going to be precise and rotate my wind. I'm going to play pretty close to 4 rings here. Sniper's accuracy is 100. So that means 1 per ring. So if the wind is, 3 point something, then I'm going to try to go similar rings. And there you see I was able to get it. And, a good start to the front side here. So glad I was able to get that. You can see that it requires very minimal topspin. Very, very minimal. So the reason that we're using Sniper is for the extended ball guide. So if you don't have a extended ball guide, that's okay. You can just, very, methodically copy my positioning where I'm basically aimed, and, try to adjust your rings based on accuracy. So for instance, if your accuracy, I'm just going to drop from Wi-Fi here, and we'll just play on 4G. But if your accuracy is, say, 50, which is two per ring, you'll go half as many rings. You would just go, if I went almost 4, then you would go almost 2. It would be half as accurate, and you're always going to use that as your, you're going to use those accuracies as your frame of reference. The only reason that we use Sniper, and like I mentioned, even if, it was very limited, you just need to have just enough to just put the tiniest touch of topspin, just so it doesn't stop short. We don't want to see it stop on the lip. But the reason that we're going with it is because, when you look at Viper, you can see the accuracy boost. Same with anything. That accuracy boost makes it easier to be precise with your ring movement. But in addition to that, I have great ball guide as well. So being able to see the hops a little bit better helps you line it up, but is not essential to making it. That Guardian or the Viper shot, the hops are going to be identical. So you just want to focus on copying my spin there. But at the very least, you can see we got it. Hopefully you guys do too. We are going to jump right in hole number 2 here. Notice I'm not clearing out my chests. I really don't care to get Tour 3 chests. If you do, you can clear your chests out at the home screen and, at the very least try to stack up some gold chests. In terms of clubs, I really don't, use too many Tour 1 to Tour 3 clubs. So, wasting a bunch of gems on the home screen, for me, I'd rather do that in Pro Division. So, the goal that I give you guys, that I suggest you guys doing is, trying to move on from Rookie as soon as possible. Because the clubs that you can get in Pro are much better. If you actually watch me play Pro, you'll see me clear out all my chests because I can get Tour 6 clubs and can upgrade much more rapidly that way. So you'll see me do that. And you know, some infamous clubs, Thorn is a 4, Thor's Hammer is a 6, Endbringer's a 6. These are all things you can be getting. What I do for this hole is I try to do a rough bounce, you know, in terms of I'm looking at the second hop, and you know, that's very close to where I want it. So you can see that's about 3 rings down, but that's max power. That wind's probably going to take it about half of that. So, you know, I am going to need a little bit of power, and I'm just trying to, you know, kind of just get a gauge of how much. And you'll see that I'll just add some, and there I'm able to get perfect ball. Anytime you're using extra mile, being able to get perfect ball is really going to bode well for you. As you can see, my ball come in here very good speed. But you know, that perfect ball is going to be very critical, especially for your success in keeping the ball straight, as well as hitting the ball on the green here or around the green. You know, a 2-ring pull would basically eliminate me from probably even getting to the fairway with an extra mile, because it's not very accurate. Whereas if I do a 1 ring to the right or 1 ring to the left, I'm probably still okay. You just need to really hone in and make sure that you're not doing 2 ring. And you know, that's why you're going to see me use quarterback in a lot of my guides here for you guys, because it's more important that I'm in play in the fairways than I'm hitting it super long. But on these few holes, you know, 2 and 4, you're going to see me pull out extra mile. So if you guys need to see a little bit more in-depth videos, you can, you know, feel free to check out my individual holes here that I have for you guys. But I wanted to just put together a, you know, one stream for you guys as well, so you can just see what it looks like collectively together as well. And I'll dump this in the rookie for you guys. But you know, it's going to be a lot harder to navigate here. And for, you know, the reason I do individual holes for you guys is just for ease. You know, you can find that shot super easy. So here we're going to try, you know, the same type of thing. We're just going to focus on precision, just like on the front. So if you guys need to see the drive, you know, feel free to check out either of my individual holes for hole 3. As you know, we're going to follow suit and do identical to those videos. We're just going to lay up here with a quarterback 6. And after hitting a quarterback 6 into the fairway, we are going to hit a sniper into the green. So here you can see we got a little bit stronger wind. And more than anything, you know, I'm just going for positioning here. So I'm just trying to visualize this spot out in the fairway. And, you know, I'm not going to try to beat this down here very far. But I just want to make sure that I do get it inside of, you know, my max sniper range. So I do want to get it down here a little bit, to get it down here to where I can, you know, get a full sniper onto the rough up there. So you can see very minimal power to do that. And even if you do pull a quarterback to the right, to the left, it has so much accuracy. So it's 3 times more accurate than extra mile. If you look at the accuracy numbers, you know, 100 versus, you know, mine is, I think it's either a 7 or a 20, 29 or something. It's one of those two. You know, it's not very accurate. So, you know, for that reason, and you can see, you know, that drive was enough for me to get to this sniper range. And you can see we're going to try to do this right at a max shot here. You can see in terms of what I try to do backspin wise, somewhere right around 1. And you're going to see me just kind of graze the left of the hole, kind of like this, because I know once it's downwind, it's going to, you know, push and carry a little bit farther to the right. So here you're just going to see me kind of go for positioning. Now, even though I'm at max, I'm going to play it kind of mid here. So you're only going to see me do a 3-ring adjustment as opposed to the full 3.6 rings that I should be going. And that has to do with, you know, just being at max. And you can see I just missed it. Just didn't consider enough. But, you know, keep in mind how I was keeping that guide a little bit shortened to the left and just trying to anticipate the way that that was going to roll out. Since it's downwind, that means that the ball guide's going to expand a little bit. And by what rate is what I'm trying to guess. And that's why you see me keeping it a little bit shortened to the left, because I know it's going to jump and it's going to hop. The hops are going to expand a little bit. And you can see I just missed the correct amount. And that just has to do with being very precise with your movements and just being very careful and methodical with the way that you do all your movements. And, you know, that's kind of the key to being consistent and shooting very low scores. Has to do with focusing on that precision. But I just wanted to, you know, put together one video here for you guys for a tournament that's just kind of collective. We're going to do this all on one stream. You know, the only thing, the biggest reason I don't like to do this is because, you know, if you guys need to search for a specific shot, it's really going to hinder your ability to do so. But at the same time, I just wanted to just kind of collectively show you guys kind of, you know, what you guys should be thinking about doing for your shots. And here, you know, I have been going to the right here, and it's going to be a little bit tougher here to kind of size this up. I'm going to just try to, you know, figure out what I want here, because I'm going to need to go into power, and I'm going to cheat about 3 rings. You can see I'm about 6 rings into power here. So I'm just going to try to estimate what that is. I got a great ball left, but I don't think, you know, it's going to be the worst thing that I hit a great ball. It's not really going to cost you the shot. It might even make it go in. You just never know the way that it's going to run out here. It is going to shoot just a little bit to the left too much. Come off that hill just a little bit faster than I wanted it. And that's one of the reasons that you're going to see me play this with a, what did I play it with on the front? A Titan ball. Because I don't want to have to go into power. I don't want to have to rely on that loss of precision going into power, not being able to know where I'm putting the target. So you're going to see me play it with a Titan. Now, granted, if you guys have a more developed sniper than I do, and you can just put it up there with a Quasar ball, then by all means, just use a Quasar ball. But if you guys need to, you know, have power like I do, it's much more important. If you guys checked out my front nine, well, if you checked out either of my other videos, I have not missed this hole yet in my shootout guides, this 6th hole. So, you know, I think you guys can, you know, use that as a helpful tool, and hopefully you guys can also get it. Now, what I'm thinking about doing here, since there's not a video on it yet, I believe I've played a Titan ball to the right. I've played a layup to the left, which I'm probably just going to rely on the layup left shot. But, you know, just for some guys who may want to go berserker here and get it up to a pitch, we're going to go for the thorn pitch. I'm going to do it with a berserker ball. So the goal here doing this, or, you know, if you wanted to, and of course, you know, the ways to get the berserker balls rely entirely on golden shot. So if you want to do golden shot and pull out a berserker ball, you can see I have roughly 10. You know, not a very huge inventory. I'm never really going to have a huge inventory on this account because it doesn't progress. I just keep it at this trophy count. I don't play tour play with this account. So you're not really going to see this account progress. But here, it's a little bad luck on this wind. We could have got a better wind than that. But, you know, at the very least, you know, if you're going to go for this, Just try to focus on some precision, you know, focus on your timing. Hopefully you guys can get perfect ball. Keeping that perfect ball is going to give you the best chance to, you know, hit it up here where you want it. And as I mentioned, you know, the reason that you would go for this shot, you know, in my opinion, if I hit it up here to a thorn range, I feel I'm going to make it 80-90% of the time. Back there, when I go to the left over here, like you saw me do on the front, if you guys want to check out my revision, I have, you know, you can use my method. It's very similar to what Steve's doing here about no power and just using some left spin to kind of play the slope. So this is very similar to the method that you see me do, and I was able to make it from there as well. So feel free to check out that tutorial as well, especially if you don't have berserkers. But like I said, you know, the reason that I would actually do this as a, you know, means for this hole would be because I feel comfortable that I can make it at a higher rate. So here you're going to see me play a little bit of right spin and full back spin. So on a thorn 4, this is actually a little bit harder shot, but we're going to try to focus on getting it. You can see where I'm kind of putting the guide. We're going to play about 1 ring here in terms of the wind, maybe just a hair over 1, kind of like here. And you know, this shot relies heavily on perfect ball. Here you're seeing I'm not getting it, but hopefully, nope. So, you know, that's basically what it comes down to, is hitting perfect ball. You know, I don't miss very many perfect balls on short irons. It's unfortunate, especially to pull out a berserker ball and hit a great ball. You know, it's disappointing to say the least anytime that happens, because of the fact that, you know, I feel like I should have had it. You know, laying up, you know, I feel comfortable that I could have had it as well. So forcing the issue on this one, really, in my opinion, you know, isn't a huge factor for making this, but I at least wanted to at least give you guys one revision that you could see for playing this. And, you know, for the most part, it essentially came down to perfect ball, which, you know, I hit on short iron 9 out of 10 times at least. So it's disappointing to say the least if I go through a run, because I'll go through runs while I'll do it like 50 straight. But then I'll do a run where, you know, I might miss a short iron, and then, you know, with perfect ball, and then, you know, it can just kind of creep up on you at any time. And disappointing to say the least, because, you know, it's essentially the equivalent of taking a stroke off my scorecard, because that win was so small, so easy, that if I would have got it on the hill right there at that right spot, it would have just, you know, fed right into the hole. But like I mentioned, you know, thorn 4 specifically is a little bit tougher. It's a bit tougher to play. So, you know, it's understandable that it happened. As I mentioned, you know, it's a very limited ball guide. It doesn't quite have the backspin. It doesn't quite have full. So, you know, with all those things considered, it can be a bit of a challenge sometimes. Now, what I'm going to do here is a little bit different than what I'd usually do. What I usually like to do here is, and I'm going to back off of this side spin just a bit, just to kind of slow this ball down a little bit, and try to get it landing up in here. So, you know, I like to play the backstop a little bit here. Of course, with extra mile, you know, you're going to need to be very methodical, be very good with your landing zone. And I do like to get it, you know, coming smooth off the hill there, feeding down towards the hole. If you want a good chance to win the shootout, like that's what it's going to come down to having very consistent results, is coming off that hill at kind of a smooth rate. And I like having all the bounces done before it gets to the green. because it's just more consistent in my approach. So you can see that I just kind of tinker with the spin just to kind of visually see it. Make sure that all the bounces are on the fairway, and it's going to kind of, and that's the way I go about doing that. A little unfortunate that we left one on the table there, because I think, I feel comfortable that we were going to put up a pretty good score. And I'm not going to miss that very much with a 3 wind. So a little unfortunate there, but at the very least, you can see the way that I aimed, and just kind of copy my method if you want to go up that way, and copy my spin, copy the way that I kind of played the break, and perfect ball. You guys will nail that one. So good luck there. But aside from that, let's move on. We're going to go to hole 5. See if we can't get an opponent here. We'll have to just, take it for what it is. It's unfortunate to miss that, but hopefully we can make it up somewhere. Be nice to get one of these next par 3s coming up. This one's going to be a hard one. I'm not too worried about getting albatross here. It's more, to me, about not making mistakes. You're seeing here a good ball to the left, and that can sometimes, you can see my opponent there barely didn't hit the rough, but runs through to the rough. So what you're going to see with my method is we're just going to be more methodical, calculating, and basically, waste one of these nice katana balls, but it's not like wasting, because it's the reason why I'm going to get eagle so easily. Of course, we could do it with basic ball, but we would be making our life a lot harder. So what I choose to do is, save my premium balls for come tournament time. And, it's a really great strategy for you guys to practice, in my opinion. And, we can just utilize the side spin of katana to just gracefully put this out into the fairway, and also have enough length that we don't have to worry about the second shot either. So you're going to see me get to put my big dog out there exactly where I want it without needing to go into power. Let me just double check, make sure that I still have my rotation on, since this is the only shot where I use rotation. Now, if you don't have the rotation or Android, not a big deal. It's not necessary. You could still use the normal phone curl. You might just want to come in on my aim, maybe 1 ring. But the way that you're going to see me play it is a little bit more out to the left, away from the bunker, away from the trees. Not like the trees are in play when you do a curl, but, we're just going to be more careful and just kind of keep it away from the bunker, away from the trees, you can see. And, I'm trying to visualize like 1 ring down. So, right where the top of my yellow is kind of my landing zone. So if you guys weren't going to use landscape, or you had apple, you would just cheat it to the right just slightly, not even, a yard or 2. And you can see I did catch a great ball left, but I'm assuming, it's not going to make or break my shot. And here we're feeding down towards the hole. Almost got it. So, I'm not worried about getting it. I am kind of trying to take the necessary steps to get it. I'm trying to make it as easy as possible, but at the same time, there's no real level of precision that I can use on that shot that's going to give me, a reliable method to get that every time. I'm just kind of focused on making sure that I secure the eagle, because as you can see, kind of with my opponent, one little error here can be the difference. So just going at it with a basic shot off the tee, in my opinion, is a great approach for you guys to really hone in on your game and make sure that you guarantee the eagle there. And that's what you see we've done. But I also want to show you that, albatross, technically not out of the question, but, just don't expect or, need to see that to happen in order to feel like, you know, you guys shot an exceptional round or anything. But anyway, let's see if we can't keep our momentum here. I'm going to reset my bag a bit, and I've been using Titan. So, you know, make sure you do get that 3 wood off just in case, you know, you go to shootout or whatever. Well, actually, I need it here specifically. I have to use sniper, so if I didn't switch it, don't try this shot with big dog. I really strongly don't recommend. Of course, you can always do it with like a Viper or a Guardian or something, and just copy my spin if you need to do that. You would just copy my spin, but you would play your rings just slightly different. And here, the shot that I've been going with is right around 1 top spin, 1 right spin as well, and just trying to, you know, land up in here. I'm basically going to treat this like I've already played it 1 ring, kind of, and I'm just going to underplay my rings here by 1 in this scenario. So here, instead of going 4 rings, you're going to see me go 3 rings. And just put this in the center and go for perfect. And let's see how my spin looks. So far, everything looks pretty good, but there's no way of knowing whether or not... just missing on the outside. So that is the first time that I was, you know, unsuccessful there. And, you know, it might have been the smallest thing about... just not quite pulling my ball gut. Maybe if I would have pulled back that extra ring. I think I've been pulling back the extra ring. Or I've at least been close. I've been going very close to spot up ring adjustment. And you know, you can, of course you can go left. When you come off the hill slow like my opponents, it's never going to shoot at the hole though. So you can pretty much take ace off the table. If you are going to go left, first off, I don't highly recommend it. But what I recommend if you do, you know, most of your bounces, like bounces 2, 3, they need to be on the green or very close. The second one has to at least be to the fringe, and you have to have a lot of curl. And you got to try to get the ball on the backstop of the green much earlier. You can't bring it in slow like that off the hill if you want the ace. It's going to be a very low percentage ace if you don't have bounces 2, 3, 4 all kind of on the green or right by the green. Very similar to my shot. So you'll see, you know, I'm very close to the fringe with my bounces. One of the things that I like about going right, that I highly recommend as to why you guys should go right, is the fact that you know, you can't end up at the bottom of the green. So if you do watch some of my other videos, you might see my opponent does wind up at the bottom of the green, and that's a result from going left. If you go right, that'll never happen. So it's kind of a safety measure. And let's see if we can't, you know, just for kicks here, get this one again. Just going to gently touch up on here. And, you know, how you saw me aim last time, we're going to kind of do the reverse now. So now you're going to see me set up just a tiny bit to the right, because the wind's pointed to the left. So I'm doing this just to try to get the ball, once it lands, back on target. So here you're going to see me pull right around 2.5 rings here. Slow with my timing. This isn't going to be very good. Oh wow, it actually came in at the pin still. But you can see that it completely changed my speed. So instead of coming in slow, missing my mark like that made it come in much faster, and it's the only reason I lost that shootout. So as a result, you know, it cost me the whole missing my aim point like that. So a little disappointing to see, but you know, it's not a big deal. We're going to go to the next one. You can see what I'm doing with my, oh, whoops, where am I going? I have a guide for you guys where I used a quasar on my opening round here. In my last video on the front nine here, I used a katana ball. We're going to follow suit, especially, you know, every stroke can be nice. I'm assuming at this point, you know, if I can just finish strong, I'm not going to need another stroke. But with that being said, you know, I at least want this video on the history books to at least, you know, have a good chance to go in. So, you know, you're going to see me play very similarly to what I mentioned, that we're going to try to get this speed down more towards the back here. In terms of my ring play, you know, I'm going to try to push up towards, you know, 3 rings here and just put some curl on this ball. Get it kind of coming around the slope. And you can see when I have, you know, a little bit less, might be a little bit short of where I want it. So in terms of depth, you know, you want to get it just a little bit deeper than what I just did. It's probably going to shoot in front of the hole, kind of like that. So if you're going for, you know, the ace here and you really want to give yourself a good chance, you want to get the ball a little bit higher up on the hill than I just did. And that's one of the problems with my quarterback, as to why it's so difficult. And this is, you know, another reason that I mentioned about you guys moving on to pro kind of as soon as possible is, you know, quarterback is a Tour 4 club. Rock is a Tour 5. If I just sit in expert, or if I just sit in rookie like you keep seeing me do, I'm not going to be able to ever upgrade those clubs without going to tour play and doing tour chess, or, you know, maybe getting them in free chess. But, you know, and that's why you see my quarterback developing so low, is because I can't get any wins in pro on this account. And it'd be nice to have a little bit better clubs, which would increase the likelihood that I could make it. You know, if I could really see that ball guide on the fairway and figuring out exactly where it is, I could be much more precise with trying to get the ball exactly where I want it. And there you can see I knew that it was a little bit short of where I wanted it, but without the ball guide, it's hard to really focus in on that and get it to that exact mark. So this wind's a little bit harder. You're not going to see me go for this same shot because I think it's lower percentage. Of course, you know, if my opponent's in the bunker, I could obviously go for the shot. But to be honest with you, you know, it's in my opinion, you know, it's a little bit less precise. And in fact, you know, if my wind wasn't so easy, I would have just done this last time. I would have just set up more over here. Because this is going to go more consistently. So here you're going to see me, you know, play 3.5 rings, just add a little bit of curl on my sniper, and I would have won last shootout had I did this. But, you know, at the same time, the wind was very easy. And like I said, you know, if you do it that way, you're going to get more consistent results, especially, you know, the more comfortable that you get with playing that method. It's going to make it easier to get close consistently as opposed to hopping the bunker shot, because you can see with just a 1-ring pull, if you look at my last replay, that, you know, that alone basically cost me that shootout, was hopping the bunker and it not quite bouncing the way that it was supposed to. But anyway, you know, we're going to move on from that. I forget what I did here. I think it was a katana ball. But that was the first time that I played the rocket shot. But we are going to follow suit. And we're going to do another rocket shot for you guys, because that is the way to play this, no question. So we're going to try to get a little bit better, more aggressive this time. I do remember mentioning my rocket was maybe 80-something accuracy. Which is 1.4 per ring. We're going to play it very close to 1 per ring. So make sure that you have 1 per ring accounted for on this shot. But aside from that, we're going to play it pretty straight up. And just make sure you put all that backspin on and get every last bit of it. Aside from that, I'm just trying to visualize, 3 rings over. Make sure that that's still going to be on the fairway like it is. Very similarly to what we did on the front, I'm going to use very minimal power, just enough to kind of get to the fairway. And here you see perfect ball. That wind should carry it over right onto that fairway edge, and we're going to get much more into the green, a lot better than the last shot. The first time that I did it, I was a little bit more cautious. That time I utilized all my curl. If you guys don't have the exact same rocket, just make sure you're double checking. I'll show you a picture of my rock in this video. There was one as well on my last individual hole that I did. We had an individual hole guide where I actually did go to the rocket on the last Tour 8 revision that I did. So you can find it there as well. But at the end, as soon as I make this, assuming that we don't go to shootout, which we still might, but I will go and we'll open the rocket card before switching for the last hole. So, another thing, when you switch your bag every hole, just be sure to always go to the shop. In fact, you see me doing this every time. No matter what, I just get in the habit of going back to the shop. There's times that I go back, switch my balls, and forget to switch my club, which is kind of the biggest rookie thing you can do. It's like you have switching on your mind and then you don't switch everything. So I've done that a few times, but if you get in the habit of always going back to the shop there, you're going to give yourself a good chance to remember. Just never go to the hole there. And here, like I mentioned, I was going to show you this. There's my accuracy. There's my power number. So as long as you, in curl 44, as long as you have, which I'm assuming, rock is the easiest club in the entire game to get. So I'm assuming most guys are going to have a developed enough rock. You might even have better rocket than me. So just keep in mind, how much backspin I'm using on mine, because you want to use similar. It's 52. In fact, the only reason I'm using rock is because that's my only club right now that has 52 backspin. But the quarterback and rock will develop to 52 backspin. They're just not there yet. So ultimately it would be nice to switch to those clubs over rocket for the extra distance. So just keep that in mind. Aside from that, my last guide, I did put on a Kingmaker for this hole. I just want you guys to know I'm going to follow suit, and I'm going to keep doing that. I mentioned that in my last tutorial video that this is the only hole we're using Kingmaker on, and it's really just for ease. If you guys have a little bit more distance on your sniper than I do, you don't even need it. I'm only doing it because I really need like 5 extra yards. Like I really badly need 5 yards. So, but I also want that side spin combination. So if you don't need to use a Kingmaker like I do, if you have a better sniper, then you can, go down to a katana ball. And if you guys saw my hole 9 revision, that's going to be your best chance to make this for Albatross. Is going to be, oh wait, oh crap, I think I'm supposed to do it with Guardian. My sniper's not long enough. I brought sniper. So, this is a mental mistake breakdown here. It's not going to cost me the hole or anything, but it's going to make this hole harder. As you can see, I don't really have a lot of top spin on my QB. You might see me just get a little bit more aggressive than I was planning on doing. You can see, if I go full here, I'm going to extend through the fairway. Pulling up on the target shows me that. So that just, makes me well aware that, I have to pull off of this. And you might just see me get just a tiny bit more aggressive this time than I was earlier. As you can see, it's much more towards the end of the fairway. And the only reason I was doing that, because I don't recommend you guys hit it as hard as I did. I knew I probably felt comfortable that it was probably going to land in the fairway. But without me putting Guardian on, I really need every yard I can get. And this video is going to really demonstrate that to you guys. So you can kind of see firsthand that, the only reason I'm doing what I'm doing is for length and length only. I'm trying to get to a specific landing zone up on the fairway up there, and without being able to, have the proper distance to do so, it's going to make my shot harder than I want it to be. But at the very least, we are going to have a guaranteed eagle, which is nice. And here, you can see firsthand exactly what I'm talking about. I want to be able to get up here on my landing zone. And here I'm going to use just a hair of topspin, not very much. And I'm going to try to focus on this as my landing zone. You can see that's about 5 rings down or so. So I'm going to try to factor that in. And I'm going to have to use about 2 rings of power here to get the ball up to that. And aside from that, just notice I'm putting all the side spin on. But just make sure that, you can do similarly like me. But the only thing I don't like about this shot is there's a loss of precision. Like anytime I go into power like that, I can't exactly see where I'm putting the ball. And it makes it a lot harder to be exactly precise. But you can see at the very least, it's not going to cost me anything. And that just kind of goes to show you how important that 5 yards is for actually lining the shot up. I had to basically, just kind of wing aiming it. And anytime you do that, there's going to be a loss of precision. And you see I was not able to, really, it was more of like a guesstimation as to what I was doing there. But at the very least, like I said, guaranteed eagle using my technique. A little disappointing on hole 4. As you can see, that's the 1 stroke. So I had 16 on the front. I only had 15 on this side for you guys. And the big difference was hole number 4. Now, granted, I did get hole 4 and 6 on the front. There's individual videos of that. But the big one that, I really let slip away with that easy shot, I was probably 90% to make that. So if you guys, haven't checked out my other videos, I really highly recommend them. You're going to be able to shoot, very low, get a very good score going for you guys. All things considered, 31, it's probably not going to give up a, if you guys want to see, my qualifier was 15, and this one with a 31, I wouldn't expect to be in any bracket where I'm not going to, have the top score. So, what I did today with hole 4, letting that score slip away really isn't going to, ultimately cost me for a tiebreaker or anything. But, you just want to, put your best shot forward, and at least, have the confidence and, pulling off the shot so you can physically see them. So you have that confidence to actually do it on the weekends. But in any regard, if you guys haven't seen my other videos, feel free to check those out. I have Pro, I have Expert, I have Master. Aside from that, if you guys haven't subscribed yet, feel free to do so. All this content is for you guys and your guys' benefit. And I feel that you guys will greatly improve your game using my content. So good luck there, and catch you guys later on the next one.